Welcome back. We're playing more of The Men of Yoshiwara Ohgiya with Takigawa. We're now on Chapter 10, Buying Freedom. Alright, so we learned that we're trying to buy Takigawa and hopefully save his brother somehow, but not really sure how we're going to do that and what his price may be to be bought, so we're going to find out next. Obviously, since the chapter's called Buying Freedom, we'll see. Let's go. Taze, where have you been? Running off without an escort like that, you worried me sick. If I had any hopes of freeing Takigawa, I would need a mountain of money. On the way back from Ohgiya, I pondered ways to raise that much. I'm sorry, Mother. I'll be more careful. My lady, thank goodness you're back. I've been searching high and low for you. Musashi dashed to my side like I had been missing for years. He looked exhausted, his brow slick with sweat. I'm sorry if I worried you, Musashi. As long as you're all right. What were you doing this whole time? I may have been too rash. Instead of talking to my mother Musashi beforehand like I probably should have, I had gone to Ohgiya to negotiate on my own. Putting it off any moment was too much for me. Sorry, I went to Yoshiwara. Oh, I see. Did something happen? I stared straight forward at my mother. After a quick glance at Musashi, I turned back and strengthened my resolve. Mother, actually, I want to be with Takigawa more than anything else. I plan to make him mine by purchasing him. You? Purchase him? But my lady, this is a troubling time for Takigawa. Well, you see, he is a smoldering ember. You do not bring fire into the home unless you wish to burn it down. There's so many rumors of that man on this island, some good, some not so good. My mother spoke out in place of Musashi, who was struggling to find the right words. She was kind and courteous woman, but always spoke her mind. I know some of the rumors you mean. I've heard many since the incident during the procession. I've worked hard to raise you and protect our store. By purchasing that man, you put both at risk. But, Mother, I love him. My lady. But I'm sure you do. All women pick their first courtesan believing they have found true love. I had never defied my mother before. Not one time in all these years. But now, I just couldn't ignore the feelings I had. Nor did I want to. I wanted to make him happy. I wanted to be happy with him. Mother, please, listen. Takigawa is incredibly popular, as you know. Everyone in Yoshiwara tries to be like him. If he were not in our family, wouldn't that bring business to the store? You would use your lover as a tool. No, that's not what I mean. We all suffer because of the lack of men born on this island. If one is born by mistake, he must be sent to the pleasure district. It is our duty to serve the women of this island so we all may continue our work and lives. And you wish to purchase their best and take him away. Can't you see what could happen? The women here are the reason we stay in business. Everything she said was true. Was I still nothing but a child? Was I really that naive? My heart ached. My mother had completely denied my dreams. I returned to my room to sulk alone, hugging my knees. I had never spoken out like that to my mother before, and yet, why was this such a helpless situation? Did I not have the power to make a single man happy? My thoughts were a mess. Such a mess I couldn't think straight anymore. I wanted to see him again, and soon. A few days later, the days rolled on through my dismal depression remained all the same. Ideas I had were no help, leaving me dejected and hopeless. My lady, is everything all right? Huh? You seem to have stopped working. Ashamed, I snapped back to work. However, the brooding misery never left my side. Sighs constantly poured out my mouth. My lady, it may not be my place to say, but a popular courtesan such as Takigawa will most likely retire earlier than usual. I can't wait that long, I shouted loudly before slapping my palms over my mouth. It may not be as long as you imagine. Musashi, Takigawa is suffering right now. If I don't save him, who will? He's an experienced courtesan, not some fresh apprentice to the pleasure district. He can overcome difficulty well on his own. Musashi, don't you understand my feelings? I asked with grieving eyes. I do. That's why I'm trying to help you. You don't understand at all. Have you ever loved someone before? Oh, I think we got him caught. His cheeks glowed red while he bit his lip. Just then a customer entered the store. Hello there. Oh, hello. A smile glued to his friendly face. Our island patrolman showed up. On patrol today? Actually, I'm off duty right now. Thought I'd stop by on break and see if I could find a nice set of clothes. Wonderful, you came to the right place. What kind of outfit can I help you find? Let's see. After he told me, I brought out some clothes he might like. But then, patrolman stared at me dubiously. What's the matter? You seem out of it today. I'm perfectly fine. You're troubled. I can see it on your face. Did something happen? My heart cracked open from his caring smile. Well, I told him all that had been bothering me, but I wanted to help Takigawa, but had no way to do so. Of course, I didn't go into great detail. Telling him too much would only hurt Takigawa. I feel for you. What a pity. By the end, he too felt defeated and forlorn. But just then, help me! Tsumugi suddenly ran into the store sobbing. What's wrong? He ran straight at me, started bawling, and clutched tightly around my waist. What's the meaning of this? He most likely ran away from home. What? Why would he? At first, patrolman tilted his head curiously, but then he had a flash of insight. Where is he from? Who'd abuse their own child like that? Well, Musashi glanced my way, wondering if it was all right to say. The boy's small and frail frame shivered inside my arms. It had to be done. But then... Wait, I've got it. Oh, hold on. The patrolman must have figured it out on his own. He ignored my pleas to stop and dash out the store. Later, we heard reports that Lady Hiraya had been arrested. I told my mother what happened and begged her to let Tsumugi stay with us. She was utterly shocked to hear that Hiraya family could behave like that. I told her Takigawa was part of the family as well. She was visibly shaken when she learned he had been abused, too. Her mother was a strong and firm woman, but loving and emotional above all else. It blew her mind that someone would treat their own children so harshly. She pitied the poor Tsumugi who had deserved none of it. Cradling him in her arms, she wouldn't let him go. There he rested peacefully, so I left him in her care. That night I had to visit Takigawa. However, off with her head and be done with it. Takigawa? After hearing what had happened, he spit out justice in a cold, heartless voice. But she's your mother. You call that a mother? He said, angry, his voice seething with hatred. She was the island was valuable as treasure. To abuse one was a severe crime. See, help her. Can't we do something? Are you okay with this? Help her? She's still your mom. Help her. Takigawa, please. What? He turned away from me, fury brimming in his eyes. Why should I care what happens to her? She deserves what's coming to her for abusing Tsumugi and me. She deserves what's coming to her for abusing Tsumugi and me. But why are you defending a criminal? His eyes started around me madly. Takigawa wouldn't even look at me anymore. It's not that I want to do something for her. I hate that woman that abused you two as much as you do. Then why? His dark eyes focused closely on me. They wavered desperately like an abandoned child's. Pain and suffering hid behind a fire of anger in his eyes. It's just, I only want to help you and Tsumugi. I want to make sure you both won't regret it if something happens. Takigawa. I jumped into his arms and clung to his chest. His embrace felt emptier than ever before. I don't want you to suffer anymore. That's all. Kaze. His shivering hand sulked behind my back. You're too kind for your own good. Only because You what? Nothing. Say it, or else. His lips suddenly clamped down on mine. Despite the gravity of the situation, my heart fluttered. I struggled to wrench myself free. However, he refused to let me go. Trapped in his arms, his lips pressed down once more. My body gave in. Unable to resist, my muscles went weak. But just then, he pulled himself off me. So, what were you going to say? It's not important. If you don't tell me, I'll force it out of you. I love you. I'm only like this because I love you. If steam could come out of his ears, it would have. Well then. He smiled, seeming pleased with himself. His lips tenderly kissed my cheek. You should have told me sooner. His loving smile vanished, his expression hardened once again. I'll never be able to forgive her. Takigawa declared with unshakable confidence. He squeezed around me tight. Did he not want to say any more? Did he not want to even think about his mother? Mixed feelings assaulted my heart. While we stayed together all night, no more was said about the topic. I returned back home first thing in the morning, but they were waiting for me. Tsumugi was in tears before I'd even arrived. Kaze, good thing you came. What's going on? My mom, what's going to happen to her? It's all my fault. She's going to die because of me. It's okay, Tsumugi, calm down. I held him as he wailed and stroked his back. I'm sorry, my lady. He kept asking about his mother. It's okay. He would eventually find out one way or another. Even I didn't know what was going to happen to his mother. It was so frightening to even think about. What could I even do on my own? There was only one thing I could do that might help. Tsumugi, don't cry. I've got some good news. You do? That's right. So be a good boy and listen. His big sulky eyes stared up at me. It glimmered like a light that drew you right in. Those mysterious eyes that hid something deep inside. It reminded me of Takigawa. Guess what? I know your big brother. What? Sorry, I didn't know until recently. He's a famous courtesan now named Takigawa. Takigawa? He's so important to you. Why don't we go meet him? We can? Yeah, tomorrow night. I'll take you there to see him. A glimmer of hope flared up in his hopeless eyes. I was sure Takigawa would adore him, and then we could think of something together. I hope. But next evening, I went to Ohgiya and brought Tsumugi with me. When Takigawa entered the room, a scowl crossed his face. He stopped in place and stared at Tsumugi. Takigawa, I'm sorry I did this without asking you. This is Tsumugi. His eyes opened wide as he stared at the ground and sat in front of us. I'm Tsumugi. Are you my brother? How old are you? I'm 8. That's about the time I came to the Pleasure District. Takigawa's sharp eyes stared straight at him. Meanwhile, Tsumugi fidgeted with his clothes. Yesterday when I arrived home, Tsumugi was already crying. He was blaming himself for having his mother taken away. I had to say something, so I told him I'd bring him to see you. Still trying to get me to help that woman. No, that's not what I want. I told you yesterday to regret anything. Something's wrong with that sentence, but okay. A lengthy silence followed. Tsumugi's eyes wandered around astonishedly. He then found the courage to speak. Help me save Mother. It's all my fault. If she dies because of me. You still call her mother even though she beats you. Huh? Don't you hate her? No. She's all alone. She's only had boys. It must be really lonely for her. Yeah. Uh-huh. Silence. Wait right there, Tsumugi. Takigawa stood up and grabbed something out of the dresser. He took what it was and placed it in Tsumugi's hand. Here. Is this candy? The boy's face burst with joy with a blossoming of flower. It is, and a delicious one at that. Takigawa smiled and spoke with a tender voice. A gentle and warm atmosphere slowly permeated the room. Thanks, brother. Can I eat it? Yeah, it'll make you feel good as it tastes. It's so yummy. His smile was the playful innocence of a child. I watched the two of them look at each other fondly. Such was the strength of family. You're a good one. Takigawa popped his hand down Tsumugi's head. He gently stroked his hair a few times and smiled. A good boy who loves his mother. He should come back tomorrow. Huh? Kase, make sure to bring the patrolman too. What was he thinking? I didn't have to ask. Once I saw his face, I wasn't worried. The love in his smile was just reassuring enough. Alright, should we come about... Alright, should we come around noon? Yeah. Thank you, Takigawa. That's a strange thing to say. I thank people when they make me happy. Alright. After that, I sent Tsumugi away with Musashi so I could talk to Takigawa alone. I had to tell him. This was something I had to say. What? What? It looks like you're holding something back. He asked curiously as he poured out some sake for me. However, I hadn't stayed to enjoy a drink or two. Takigawa, truth is, I have something to tell you. It's only right for you to know. What is it? You're making me nervous here. He put his hand on top of mine, a worried smile forming on his face, and closed his hand inside both of mine. Quietly, I spoke. I had a meeting with the owner the other day. I spoke to him about buying you. You did? I told him about a large sum of money it would cost. I told him my mother was against it. Even every little emotion detail I put into words. Yeah, well, buying a courtesan isn't so easy. But, well, what? It will only cause trouble, and you know it. Why not be happy with the time we spend together here? He asked, his face regal and proud. He wasn't asking the phony mask of a courtesan as a shield. He was using the phony mask of a courtesan as a shield. I'm not giving up. I don't care how silly and foolish it sounds. Won't you help me overcome this together? Give it up, Kaze. Your mother is right. I don't care if it is. None of it matters. So you don't care if it ruins your family? I do care. But I can't just leave you here. What do you really want? He pulled his hand from within my grasp. And then, with a soft smile, he cradled me in his arms. Besides, being together, what do you really want? I want you to be happy. Didn't you know? I've always got you. I'm always happy. So it'd be happier if you weren't stuck in the pleasure district. That's just a dream. Now what? You're number one Yoshiwara, right? If I brought you home, I'm sure even my mother would be happy. Number one in Yoshiwara, maybe. In the outside world, I'm about as useful as a rock. Don't say that. It's not true. There are plenty of things you can do that no one else can. He sighed a gentle breath onto my shoulder as he held me. The hot breath of his lonely sigh tingled my skin. I squeezed him tight while he remained silent. I heard all the courtesans in the pleasure district try to imitate what you wear. You're so beautiful and charming. They do anything to become more like you. Everyone follows in your footsteps. Become a legend for courtesans. Become the most beautiful and glorious flower Yoshiwara has ever seen. Become their dream. Kaze. You sure have a way with words sometimes. His voice quivered slightly. A legend of courtesans, eh? That's right. Yoshiwara is the place of dreams. A place where dreams are brought and lived. A place where flowers come to blossom and wither. Live place. I don't know. So dreams are brought and live where dreams come to blossom. I don't know. Takigawa? Was he crying? I tried to glance at his face, but his arms pulled me tight to his chest. I shook his back, hugged him, do nothing. Stroke his back. I stroked the back of his shivering body. Did you get a picture of that? No. He jerked slightly, but soon clung tightly against my body. His weight pulled me forward. It was a burden I loved to bear. After a while, he muttered quietly, "Thank you, Kaze. I'll become their dream." Takigawa. Our hands clasped together, we vowed to get married for real. It was a promise we meant to keep. The next day, as planned, I brought Tsumugi and the patrolman over to Ohgiya, but there was one more. The night before, Takigawa asked me to bring his mother as well. That's different. Not having seen her in 10 years, he stared at her with cold, bitter eyes. Even the mood seemed chilled. So, what's the reason we're all here? I heard this woman was under arrest for child abuse. Brother, Motochika. Who knew what his mother was feeling right then? She broke into tears, clearly distressed. The very idea she would do such a thing is absurd. What? Samuki tells me he pulled a bad prank. He deserves a good spanking or two. But that's why he got upset and ran away to find Kase. Takigawa said casually as if it were nothing. Meanwhile, his mother looked on, too shocked for words. Samuki, is this true? Yeah, I didn't mean for any of this to happen. It's my fault. I didn't know what to do. Samuki was so troubled I had brought him to see his brother, Takigawa. Really? This all seems very suspicious. And you're going to execute her without any concrete evidence? Do you know what people would say if they found out? Yeah, I suppose that isn't enough to prove anyone guilty. Takigawa's mother howled as she wept loudly. Mother! Samuki ran up to her side and caressed her back. Seeing this, the patrolman was even less reason to feel suspicious. After a short chat, he left us to go back on patrol. Motochika, you forgive me after all this time? I'll never forgive you. His words slapped her in the face as she ran towards him. She stopped immediately in her tracks. Not in a million years will I forgive you. He glared at her like a sworn enemy, as if every bone in his body was repulsed by her. As if every bone in his body was repulsed by her. His fierce eyes consumed with rage and pierced into her. Then why would you say that? Because of Samuki. I did it for him. No. You will pay for what you did. I'm taking Samuki away from you. But he'll be sent to the pleasure district soon anyway. Your point is, in 1 year, half a year, it doesn't matter. I'll use all the time until then to show him what family should be. I'll be his only salvation for the years to come. And you'll be alone again to regret all that you've done. She had a large sigh. Her head and shoulders slouched as if defeated. And just like that, she hobbled listlessly towards the door. Mother! It's my child. Why can't I do as I please? Samuki reached out for her even as his mother spoke heartlessly to him. Her own hand trembled as she weakly reached for his. I want to believe that she wasn't all she wanted to say. I want to believe that wasn't all she wanted to say. But deep down inside, she still loved them. She clenched his hand once and then let it go, and left without another word. As she walked out, Takigawa spoke to her back. No matter what happens, you're still his mother. If you want to see him, you know where to go. Come back and show that you've changed. For Samuki. For me. She briefly glanced back at him before leaving for good. I couldn't believe what just happened. Tears started streaming down my face. I ran to his side and threw my arms around Takigawa. Takigawa. Kaze, was that good enough? You were perfect. So he was pulled into the hug and the three of us shared a warm embrace. The scars of the past would not heal in 1 day, but enough time and love can erase all wounds. Just like at first, how Takigawa wouldn't show me who he really was. Facing difficulty was the first step in overcoming it. What happened that day was a big first step for us all. I later spoke with my mother again about buying Takigawa. Her own heart challenged the cruel laws and fate of this island. In the end, she began to agree that something must be done. Neither of us wanted to feel like giving birth to a boy was a curse. It wouldn't be an easy path, but it was a journey worth taking. The Kitsune family would welcome a man to the family. It would be a big change, but hopefully one for the better. And so, carried in a carriage by Musashi and some others, I was taken to the gates of Yoshiwara. My heart tingled with excitement. Looking back, all this happened so fast. I wanted to know him. I wanted to see him. I wanted to make him happy. I wanted to be happy with him. Each of my memories with Takigawa floated through my mind like clouds. It was truly frightening how fast one's heart can change. Before I knew it, I had fallen into a spiral of love. And now I was taking the next step. Are you ready, my lady? Musashi asked hesitantly as I stood before the great gates. Yes, let's go. It'd be a day to remember. The shining sun flared high in the sea of blue skies. Today was the day. It marked the last time I came through the gates of Yoshiwara to meet Takigawa. If I want to take my lover, I must pass under them one more time. The wide gates opened before me. The long road that ran down their center. People passing down by cried out in loud voices. Courtesan Takigawa was to be bought. Courtesan Takigawa. Courtesan Takigawa. Yoshiwara's finest courtesan Takigawa. That day, he became mine and mine alone. At the same time, he became a legend. Oh, that was awesome. Yes, that was beautiful. And we got 100% likability. Yes, 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 yes. Alright, guys. That's the end. We'll be back with whatever ending we get. I'm not sure which one I got. Probably with 100%. We got a super happy ending, but I'm probably going to do the first one first or whatever. It's going to be coming out as a happy and a super happy. Let me know which ending you like best, of course. That'd be awesome. And anyway, if you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to give it a like. You can also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And you can also find my social links in the description area down below. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Kazi out.